This is WVBN, reporting from Italy. The Regia Marina and Regia Aeronautica began reconnaissance of the Mediterranean for Morgana ghost ships, and not soon after located a trio of vessels sailing towards Gibraltar. This information was transmitted to the British Royal Navy, who were prepared to intercept with the destroyer HMS Keith. The ghost ship submerged to pass through Gibraltar and soon resurfaced, prompting the Royal Navy to begin its attack. Both HMS Keith and the Fleet Air Arm tracked the vessels west, engaging shortly before the ghost ships could reach the safety of a Morgana blockade in the Atlantic. 3 hits were scored and the British force returned safely to Gibraltar. Another squadron of Italian vessels, operating in the North Sea, located a second group of ghost ships. The Italian destroyer, Giovanna de Verrazzano, tracked this group alongside the rest of her squadron, as the ghost ships sailed north, before being forced to turn back due to the hostile Morgana presence. They reported that the ghost ships submerged just before they reached a large ice pack. Further reconnaissance and investigation of the matter will be handled by this squadron in the future. For their efforts, both squadrons were given a casket of wine by Mussolini, courtesy of the passing Japanese fleet. The Athens hulk, previously identified as the old hull of the Morgana called Nero, began the process of being salvaged by a team of Italian civilian salvagers. The hulk would be cleared out of Athens and relocated to safer locations under Italian control. Assisting them were other shipyard personnel and Italian army engineers, alongside heavy equipment such as bulldozers, trucks, and barges. It is hoped that this process will go smoothly and without incident, to better protect the people of Athens. The Greater Balkan Neutrality Pact began a coordinated international defense plan headed by Mussolini this week. It was decided that money and raw materials would be sent to Italy in exchange for weapons and training, courtesy of Italian officers and soldiers. This would help both further industrialize Italy and give those with a less developed industrial sector better defenses without needing to create entire new industries. The plan was well received by all member nations. Turkey, in particular, was already being assisted by Italian combat engineers to fortify the Dardanelles. Mussolini continued his attempts to sway Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary into his alliance, but the nation continued to offer varying levels of resistance. Nevertheless, many were commending Mussolini on his diplomatic achievements in this infamously volatile region. There is no doubt that as Italy's prestige grows, so too will their responsibilities. In Alexandria, the Japanese Narvik Squadron safely arrived in the Mediterranean this week to much fanfare. Both the Italian and British diplomatic envoys were eager to make contact with what was hoped to be a new strategic partner. Upon their arrival, a celebration was held for officers and sailors present. As the fleet was leaving the next day, a sabotage attempted to attack the convoy, but was quickly detected by Hosho's morning air patrols. A fast and violent struggle quickly followed, with Hosho demonstrating the effectiveness of naval air power against the Morgana, and Asashio unleashing a devastatingly accurate torpedo strike on Sabotage herself. The Italian destroyer Bersaglieri attacked from the opposite side, unleashing more and more accurate shots on the Morgana, directed by a woman dressed as the titular light infantryman, who could have been none other than Bersaglieri herself. The Belle fired her rifle in tandem with the batteries, sinking many Morgana warships. Her captain ordered a torpedo strike, and a wave of explosions soon struck the remaining Morgana. After the battle was over, the newly awakened Bersaglieri introduced herself. After the battle, it was discovered that all Italian Belles present vanished at the same time, only to be discovered in Taranto, feasting on spaghetti in the mess hall. The Belles promised to return after their meal. The Regia Marina continued to refit Napoli, and prepared to tow her to a full dry dock for the rest of her conversion. Sources indicate that the High Command is preparing to choose between 3 options, which are not known at this time. As the ship was slated to improve colonial defenses, Mussolini indicated a desire to leverage more from these colonies, as well as potentially improving relationships between them, their people, and Rome. At this time, however, no specifics have been decided, with foreign policy being focused elsewhere. For the time being, the Army and Navy were left to discuss what place these so-called Ascari might have in the modern Italian military. This has been WVBN, reporting from Italy.